So we're going to have a look at how to make a hangman game here, and this is a fairly reasonably straightforward one. First what I'll do is I'll play the game so you can see how it works. So I've got a list up here of 4 words, okay, and the game will pick one of those at random and it will change each letter to an underscore. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got 5 words, okay, sorry, 5 letters, and it'll ask me to guess a letter. So if I type in that, it hasn't got a W in, okay, so it's come up with the same thing. So it's probably going to be hello. There it is, lovely. So it'll eventually replace all of the letters until I win the game. Okay, so the way this works is, if I shove this over here, we've got a list to start with, which I've called answer list. Okay, I've imported random as well because I need to be able to pick one from random. So we've got answer list here, and I've got those words in my list. Okay, they're all strings in speech marks separated by commas. Okay, and what I've done is I've done random shuffle answer list. So each time the program runs, this list will change. Okay, same words, but they'll go in a different order. And then what I've said is I've set a variable called answer, and I said list answer list 0. Okay, so what it will do is it will take whatever's at position 0 in the list, let's say weld, okay, and what list will do is it will chop it up into individual letters for my list. Okay, so in other words, answer will be, it will look like this, so WORLD. Okay, so rather than the word weld, it will split them up into individual letters, which is what we need to do. Okay, so I'm just going to hash that out so it doesn't cause any problems. Now, what happens next is I've made a list, a new list called display, and it's empty. And I've used this command here, extend, to add all of these different things in the variable into my list called display. Okay, so what we've got is WORLD as separate letters in my list called display. All right, we can test this out by, if we just go print display, we should see, if I just run the program, we should see that those letters are all separated. There we go, you can see there. Okay, so that's working fine. So I'll get rid of that. It's a good idea to use print statements just to test things out. You can see I've done it there and just commented it out. So what we've got next is a loop. So for I in range to length display. So in other words, however long our word is. So let's say we've used weld up here. So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 indexes long. And for each one, replace whatever is at that index with an underscore. Okay, so now we did have this. Let's pop that here. Okay, and now what we've got, actually it's not called answer anymore, it's called display. Display. We've got this underscore, 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 okay, with no spaces. So what we've done here is we've used this little join thing to join a space onto each of the displays, each of the underscores. So in other words, it will now look like this. Okay, so that's what we're getting. So let's just get rid of that again. We've got a variable called count, okay, which will stop the game once all the letters have been guessed, and we'll talk about that shortly. We've got while count is less than the length of the answer. Okay, so if it was weld, it would be 4, so starting at 0, and it's going to repeat all of this until we basically get up to whatever the length is, so 4 if it was the word weld. So we've got a guess, which is our input, where we type in what we think the letter is going to be. If I run this at the same time, you'll be able to see. Okay, so this down here, guess a letter, is this bit. I've converted everything to lowercase because you'll see here all of my stuff is lowercase. So anything they type in, even if it's uppercase, will still work. You see there. Okay, and I printed count just so I can see if it's going up and down. Okay, we've got another loop here, which this is responsible for replacing the letters in the guessed word. Okay, this bit here. So again, for I in range, all the way to the end of our answer, if answer is equal to guess, so in other words, if it knows one of the letters is in the word, okay, so let's type in O because I know that's there. Okay, there it is. What it will do, okay, it will run this bit. It will say display I equals guess. Okay, so what that essentially means is instead of the underscore, it will replace the underscore with whatever we guessed. So we guessed O. It knows O is at position 1 in our list, so 0, 1. Okay, so it replaces the underscore with O. All right, and then it adds 1 to the counter. All right, so the counter is no longer 0, it's now 1. All right, and when it gets up to 4, it'll end the game. Okay, what it will do again for the next letter, just here, it prints out the new word with anything we've guessed already in it. Okay, so let's do R. Okay, we know that's there, so that's gone through again. Let's pick one that's not in there, Y. Okay, so because answer Y, we chose Y this time, isn't in guess, it doesn't do any of this. Okay, so let's pick another one that we know is there, L, D, and there we go. Okay, and then it finishes off because it comes out the loop, comes out the while loop here because count has got up to 4 and prints this statement. All right. Now there is a bug with this program. Well, not really a bug, it's just code we haven't done properly. If we pick the same letter over and over and that letter's correct, it will still increment the counter. Okay, so you can see there it's told us we've guessed the word even though we haven't, because we pressed L 3 times, okay, or 4 times in this case, starting at 0. So we've got a problem with our game. Okay, it doesn't quite work properly, so we can rectify this by having a look at the next video.